right. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to our Power Hour virtual summit where we're going to go into side hustles, how we can create some side hustles that's going to help us in our real estate business, but keep us in the real estate business. And so, as usual, we do have our president on the line. She is not feeling well today, and I apologize if you didn't want to give all that information. But if you could say a few words, because we love hearing from you before we get started, it'll be greatly appreciated.
Yes, yes. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our annual summit. I am so excited about the topic. It's so fitting right now. Everybody's trying to find that side hustle income, and why not keep it within our industry? So, if you're going to have a side hustle, why not have a real estate related? I mean, I have a real estate brokerage, and I think property management is my side hustle. So, you never know what people consider side hustles. So, welcome everyone. Glad to see you all here. I'm excited about our presenters. I want to thank our presenters today for sharing this information, and we look forward to a great summit.
All right, thank you. And so that getting started, we wanted to come right out the gate with a mobile notary, how to become a mobile notary or how to have a mobile notary service. And we are going to start with Mr. Curtis, the boss Doss. I see you don't put the boss in there no more, but you're still the boss, Curtis.
Oh,
And
no,
I'm
that's
more,
from an old message from old class.
but I definitely want to, you can introduce yourself and let everybody know what your qualifications are and everything like that. And then you can get started, sir. We are so excited to have you here. Thank you.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to say a big thank you to you, Parisha, for setting this up. I've known her for years, and if anybody knows how to do a side hustle, it is Parisha. So, want to say thank you to you and also to President Ria for having me. I am super thrilled and super honored to be here to present to you today. I have a meeting at 11 o'clock, about an hour away from where I'm at. So, I apologize. I won't get a chance to stick around and hear all the other great presenters, but I want to jump right into it. I'll give the most slim version of a resume that I can give. I am the broker owner of Kinnear Real Estate. I've been in real estate for 19 years. I am also a CAR instructor. I'm an instructor for the California Association of Realtors, and I've been doing that since 2012. Been president of my local association, been on CAR board of directors for many years, been the president of our Women's Council of Realtors local network 3 times. And so just love real estate. But what I found out is I wanted to do something specific when I grow up, and that was doing instruction. So really love giving knowledge and teaching. So that being said, we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my PowerPoint presentation, and I encourage you to take some really good notes because I think this is a really great side hustle. First, I want to make sure, can everybody see my presentation? All right, I see a couple of heads nodding. I see Latrice nodding. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. So I'm going to go through a few steps on how to be a mobile notary and how to get your business started. But I thought the first thing to do is actually to share my story with you. So I'm going to tell you what inspired me to become a notary public, because I think that sharing that is going to give you some keen insight onto why I think it's such a fantastic side hustle. Then I'm also going to tell you what a notary public is and what a mobile notary is. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, yeah, Curtis, I know what a notary public is, but as I share my story with you, maybe some of you are going to be like me, kind of naive to actually the difference between a notary and a mobile notary. And then I'm also going to give you the prerequisites and the California state requirements on how to become a notary. And then I'm going to tell you some tips about setting up shop. I'm going to give you some tools that you're going to need to become a notary. And then lastly, I am going to, let me move my screen here. I got everybody on my side here. I'm going to give you some tips on how to grow your business. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into it. So my story. Well, it all started in 2006. And in 2006, I had, let me back up. In 2005, I had just got my real estate license. So in 2006, that next year, I had a friend that wanted to buy an investment property. And she had already had a house in San Diego. And also, she had just bought a brand new car. And so, and I knew she was a notary. And that's all I knew. So that got me to thinking. And I was like, you know what? Let me ask some questions here because I'm curious to know. As a notary, I'm thinking, the mailbox, et ceteras, and the postable annexes, you have the signs there. We do notary public and things like that. But I'm thinking, okay, that's about maybe $10 a signature. So got me to thinking. And so I started asking questions. So here's the dialogue. I was like, Michelle, what other occupation do you have? And of course, she replied, just notaries. So I was like, okay, well, as your real estate agent, I'm probably going to need to know how much you make per year. Now, of course, that was kind of a multifaceted question because I did pretty much want to make sure as a new agent, I wasn't working with her and it wasn't going to result in a consummated transaction. But also, I was just kind of curious. I'm like, wait a minute, all you do is notaries. And again, I'm thinking notaries sign the documents. You get like basically $5 or $10 a signature, and that's it. So she said she makes about $90,000 a year. And when she said that, then of course, I had a whole lot of follow-up and fact-finding questions. So the next thing I told her was, I said, Michelle, there is no way you make $90,000 a year. At which point she says, no, yeah, I do make $90,000 a year. I said, okay, explain that to me. How do you make $90,000 a year as a notary? And she told me, she says, well, I am a loan signing mobile notary. And I said, okay, give me more details on that. And she says, well, basically all I do is loan doc signings. And I was like, okay, give me more details on that. And she says, well, basically, as in real estate, people buy houses and then they also refinance. She says, well, I'm the one that goes out and notarizes the settled loan docs. I said, okay, I'm with you so far. I said, well, out of curiosity, how much do you make per signing? And she said, anywhere from $200 to $300. I said, okay. I said, and how long does it take you to do a notary? She says, I can get one done in about 45 minutes to about an hour. It just depends on how thick the docs are and how many questions the people have. So then I started doing the math. I said, okay, Michelle, I'm going to say that you make $250. I'm going to meet you halfway in the middle. You make $250 a notary, and I'm going to say that you probably can do 2 a day because you've got to take into consideration travel time there, travel time back. I said, okay, so if you do each notary is $250 and you do 2 a day, that's $500 a day. And I'm going to say you just work Monday through Friday. So that's 5 days a week. So $500 a day times 5 days a week, that's $2,500 a week. There's 4 weeks in a month. So that's $10,000 a month, 12 months in a year. That's 120,000. I was like, wait a minute. Let me do that math again. Hold on. $250 a day times 2, that's $500 a day, 5 days a week. Then yeah, that's 2,500, 4 weeks in a month, $10,000 a month, 12 months in a year. I was like, what the heck? And she's like, oh, and by the way, the only reason I make 90,000 is because I don't work on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And I was like, are you serious? I was like, okay. So my next follow-up question was, okay, what do I need to do to become a notary? And she told me, she says, well, you've got to take a class, you got to pass a test. She said, and then you got to do a live scan, they do a background check, and then you receive your notary commission from the Secretary of State. And I was like, okay, well, guess what? I'm in. And so that's my story on what inspired me back in 2006. And as you can see, it's not rocket science to figure out the money. I was like, it's simple math. I was like, that is incredible that you can make that amount of money or more by becoming a mobile notary. So that being said, I want to define the National Notary Association's definition of a notary. So verbatim, a notary public is an official appointed by a state government to serve the public as an impartial witness during notarizations, such as the taking of acknowledgments and or affidavits, the signing of documents, and administering oaths. Notary publics certify the proper execution of many of the life-changing documents of private citizens. Whether those transactions convey real estate, grant powers of attorney, establish a prenuptial agreement, or perform a multitude of other activities that enable our civil society to function. And that is textbook definition of a notary. So if you didn't know, there you go. Now, mobile notary. A mobile notary in California is a commissioned official authorized to perform notarial acts outside their office or workplace. They travel to clients' locations to execute various types of documents, offering convenience and accessibility for individuals and businesses alike. Now, it's this flexibility that sets them apart from traditional stationary notaries and extends their services to a wider clientele. That's what you want to be. Now, I'll say this. Once you become a notary, there is no such thing, as far as I know, in the state of California as a mobile notary. You literally are just taking your show on the road. So once you become a notary, you can literally become a mobile notary. So there's no distinction there. It's just that, of course, a mobile notary, you're going to be mobile. You're going to be bringing services to the client. And that is becoming increasingly popular. And during COVID, it was really popular. But I've got some crazy stories I could tell you about some signings. I don't think in the scope of our time I can get into detail, but I'll just touch on a little bit. I've done notaries whereas we've signed in someone's garage. I'm on one side of the garage, they're on the other side of the garage. I would do what I need to do, then go to the other side of the garage, and they would come in the middle, sign, and go to the other side of the garage. Needless to say, that was not a 1 hour notary. That was about a 3 hour notary. So it took a little bit longer. But again, the mobile notary is literally one of the fastest growing aspects of notaries because you're going to the client. All right, so I'm going to give you the prerequisites, the California state requirements of becoming a notary. So to become a notary, you must be 18 years old. I'm sure everyone on the call is at least 18, so you've got that checkbox already marked. You need to get training from an approved education vendor. Now, I recommend the NNA, which is the National Notary Association. And the reason that I recommend the NNA is because they have one-stop shopping. Everything you're going to need, everything that you're going to have to do, it's all packaged in the NNA. So that's who I recommend. You can do other trainings and kind of do a whole little smorgasbord of different services. You might save a little money, but again, this one-stop shop, National Notary Association, is the one for me. And I've been dealing with them since I first got my notary. You got to pass a state administered exam. Now, I didn't tell you in the story, the conversation I had with Michelle, the details. I asked Michelle, I said, Michelle, in that test or in that class, how long is that class? And she told me it's 1 day. And I was like, wait a minute. It sounded like you said I just have to take a 1 day class. She says, yeah, well, of course there's a test at the end. I was like, okay, yeah, there's a test at the end. She says, yeah, it's 30 questions. And I believe you have to get around 22 questions right. I said, okay. So it is a 1 day class. And then there's a test right after the class. So I mean, what are the odds that, you're going to fail that test? They just taught it to you. So I thought that was just hilarious that you could actually get a career going from a 1 day class. And of course, there's the test and actually make 6 figures and be 18 years old or older. And that's pretty much it. So you, of course, have to complete and submit an application after you take the test, and you've got to pay the state filing fee. And then you have to complete your fingerprinting, which is your live scan, and a background check by the Department of Justice. And then you're going to receive your commission certificate from the state. You got to get a surety bond, and then you're going to file your commission paperwork and bond with your notary regulating official, which is I go to the county clerk's office in my area, buy your notary supplies. And again, I recommend using the NNA. Now we're going to take a real quick field trip so that I can actually show you and walk you through some things so that you can see this live. So I may need to do a new screen share. So I'm just going to make sure that I do that. So can everybody see the screen I'm on now about the National Notary Association? Everybody got that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm on the screen here, and this is the National Notary Association. Again, you can go wherever you want, but you're going to see why I said that this is one-stop shopping just here in a second. So I'm going to click on Become a Notary. And see there it says Become a California Notary. Mine is defaulted like that because I've been on this site several times. So you want to be a California notary. I'm going to click Get Started. And it's thinking. Sorry about that, guys. Not my computer. My computer's super fast. So you're going to see here, it says, hey, is California correct? Yes, is California correct? Now, I'm going to, again, minimize the screen so I can see everything here. So you see here the California required notary classes. Now, you can do live class or you can do online training. I recommend that you do a live class only because when you do the live class, everything else that you're going to need to do is included in this live class. I'm going to walk through and show you that. So you've got, I've got live seminar selected there. I'm going to put in my zip code and we're going to do a search. And as you can see, there's all kinds of different classes available. I'm just going to select the first one for Anaheim. And then you'll see here you've got some add-ons. So you could actually add on the live scan fingerprinting and application photos. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because they actually are going to have live scan representatives there at the live class and also photographers to do they're like passport style photos. Now, and all my years of being a notary, I think it was during my second or third commission, they started doing the photos. There's nothing on my notary seal that has a photograph. We don't actually get a notary ID. So I do not know, guys, where those photos are kept or being stored, but for some reason they need 2 passport photos. That's still a mystery. The jury is still out on that. Don't know why they need it. I just hope that I don't show up in a post office profile on the top 10. But anyway, they do require you to do photos. Now, I'm going to show you these different packages here, and I'm going to give you some suggestions. Now, you see there's a 1-800 number there. If for any reason you forget what I'm telling you here, or you just want to do it over the phone, which might be your best option, then you have that number and you can go ahead and call them. But you've got some options here. So once you've checked the training, then you've got your package options. I recommend the complete package with an exception of you don't necessarily need this 4-year hotline subscription. If you're kind of worried about knowing what you're doing, then it may be something that you want to do because you're going to be able to call the National Notary Association hotline. And I can tell you they're very quick to answer the phone and they're very good at answering your questions. But you're going to see here, you've got your bond, which, of course, I mentioned you're going to need to have a $15,000 surety bond, and it needs to be for 4 years. It needs to match the time frame that you're going to be a notary, which, by the way, I digress and back up. Your commission is going to be set for 4 years. So that's another one of the amazing things that I found out when I talked to my friend Michelle. I said, well, how long does this last? And she said 4 years. And I was like, that's incredible. I'm going to be commissioned for 4 years. I will tell you, a little downside of it is every 4 years, you're going to have to do all of this over again. So unlike with real estate where you have continuing education and once you're in, nope. For the notary, you're going to have to do everything all over again. It doesn't matter how many times that you have renewed your commission, you're going to have to start all over again. So you're going to see here also too that you're going to need a journal and a stamp. All of this is included in the package. And again, you can do all of these things piecemeal. You can contact a company that can make your stamp. You can contact companies and buy journals, online. And full transparency, my journals, I get them on Amazon. I don't necessarily go to the NNA for that because I found some really hardback journals, hardcover journals that are really good. And so when I renew and buy new journals, I get them on Amazon. But the one they're going to give you is going to be kind of a flimsy little paperback one. But again, you're just starting out. So I recommend one-stop shopping. You're going to need a inkless thumb printer. And then you don't necessarily need this California Notary Primer. I think it's thrown in on 2 of the 3 packages. And then right here, your E&O insurance. Now, they have default $25,000 for 4 years. Okay, I'm going to recommend that you do $100,000 worth of E&O. And just to start out, maybe just do it for 1 year. So I'm going to show you how you can actually change that. And the reason I recommend $100,000 is because once you start getting set up with some of the title and escrow companies, a lot of them, I'd say the majority of them, are going to require you to have $100,000 E&O. So I recommend going that route. And because you're going to be just starting out, maybe start with just 1 year. You do have savings if you do it for 4 years. And I usually do it for 4 years because, of course, I've been busy in the past and I anticipate being busy in the future. So I'm being proactive on that. But like I said, I recommend maybe just doing 1 year. And then you're going to notice here you've got acknowledgments. Acknowledgments, you're going to find out when you go through the notary course. Acknowledgments are just a piece of paper that are called loosely certificates. A lot of times your docs are going to have built-in acknowledgments. But truth be told, you could Google California acknowledgement and you could actually print them right off of the web. So that may be something that you might not necessarily want to purchase. And then they've got the mini stamp, which is a smaller version of the stamp that you're going to get. So just for instructional purposes, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Order Now button. And now it's going to take me down to my insurance. And right here, I'm going to customize the coverage. So I'm going to say $100,000 of E&O insurance. And I'm going to change these terms back down to 1 year. You're going to see that it's significantly lower. It's $58 for 1 year. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then, of course, I'm going to go down to, I'm going to bypass this membership because I already have a membership with them. But again, starting out, to cut costs, you might want to go ahead and skip that step. And then you've got additional supplies, things that you can order. You got your mini stamp, which is included. And then, of course, they have some different colors that you can choose from there. And then your basic journal, that's going to be that paperback journal. That's included in your package. And of course, again, the different seals. And then the ID check guide, it's something that if you want to get, you can get it. You're going to be notarizing and authorized only in the state of California. But of course, a lot of times you could have out-of-state IDs. And so it'd be kind of nice to know the different things to look for in the different out-of-state IDs. But pretty much, if you look at the key factors that they're going to train you to look for on an ID, you're going to be pretty good to go. I'd say the only curveballs are some states have IDs that don't expire for like 10, 15, 20 years. So that may throw you off when you're like, okay, why did you hand me a picture of your daughter? Oh, wait a minute, that's you. Oh, okay. So that may throw you off a little bit, but no biggies. You'll get through it. Trust me, you'll get through it. So I'm going to go ahead and say proceed to the checkout. And you'll see that it's going to give you a total of everything. And again, if you have any questions or if you have problems manipulating the screens and everything like that, then just give them a call. They would be more than happy to walk you through everything. So it's still thinking, again, not on my end, but and if it doesn't pull up, then we'll just go ahead and move forward. But that's pretty much it for going through and getting everything. Again, like I said, everything is all in one place with the National Notary Association. So you've got everything there. Why do it all piecemeal? Because like I said, you may save some money, but then you're going in all kinds of different directions on that. So I'm going to switch back over to my presentation and show you what is coming up next. All righty. So now, once you pass the exam, you're going to get a letter that looks like this. And this is my actual letter once I passed the notary exam. No criticism here. I got a 95. For some reason, I did not get 100%. And as you can see, that was in 2022. That is after I've been a notary for quite some time. And really, nothing had changed much. But that's kind of what I got. So no judging. On the back of that, they're going to give you instructions on live scan fingerprinting. Now, again, like I said, if you do the National Notary Association package, then live scan, they're going to be there at the beginning of the course. And let me say this, if you do decide to do the home study where you actually do the class at home, you've got some options, and they're going to tell you have some options. What you're going to do is the day of the training and the exam, you show up in the morning and bring them your certificate. You're going to get a certificate of completion. You're going to check in the morning, give them the certificate of completion, and then they're going to say, okay, I've got that. They're going to direct you over to the section where they're doing the live scan. And then once you're done there, they're going to direct you over to the photographer. And as far as I know, they haven't changed this process. They're going to tell you, hey, if you want to stay and actually sit through the live class, you can. Or if you'd like, you can come back at 3 p.m. and, don't quote me on these times. This is basically the time they told me. Come back at 3 p.m. and you can actually sit through the 1 hour review, because they're going to do a 1 hour review before they bring the proctors in. Or you can just show up at the time of the exam. And so I think this last time I did do online, checked in the morning, and then I just came back for the review, did the review, and then of course, boom, we did the proctor test. But it was so easy. It's always been so easy just to do everything right there, because they're all in one location. So I highly recommend that. All right. And then once they're done with their background checks and everything like that, you're going to get a letter that looks a lot like this. And so as you can see here, it says, congratulations. They give you your commission. They have the commission number there. Also enclosed 2 oaths of office. You're going to need to file 2 oaths of office. I know it sounds all official. It's really not anything that spectacular. It's just you're going to go down to your county clerk's office with this information. Also, a certificate of authorization to manufacture your notary seal. Now, there are only a finite number of authorized dealers that can make your notary seal, because you're going to be an official officer of the state of California. And guess who one of those authorized people are? The National Notary Association. So again, that's why I do everything one-stop shop. Again, you can find other ones that can do it. Then, and of course, they're going to have a list of authorized manufacturers. And then they tell you, before you actually can do notarial acts, you have to qualify your commission. And to qualify that, you've got to file those 2 oaths of office and your bond, your $15,000 surety bond. Guess where I buy my surety bond from? You guessed it, the National Association, the National Notary Association. I get everything there. Again, one-stop shopping. And they recommend, of course, that you get all that stuff done in an expedient matter of time. So what does that look like? Well, there is my notary commission in 2006. You're going to notice the start and end dates for your commitment. And then in 2010, I renewed because I was not missing a beat. And then in 2014, I renewed again for another 4 years. And then in 2018, I renewed for another 4 years. And then somewhere they got kind of cheap on the certificates. And that's what I got after that. The Secretary of State, I think, changed a couple of times, but you'll see that Shirley felt maybe we needed to cut back and cut some corners. So I was like, okay, Shirley. Ironically, that's my mom's name. So I was like, come on now, Shirley, really? But anyway, these are all my commissions. This is actually what your commissions are going to look like. I thought it'd be great to share those with you. And this is my oath of office. This is actually what I filed with the county clerk's office. And you'll notice that it says there, I do solemnly swear that I'll support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Ironically, that is the same oath that I took when I joined the Marine Corps. It's also the same oath that a lot of public officials take. The president swears in. So this is serious business. You're actually going to be an officer of the state of California. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, wait a minute, I recognize this, but I wanted to make sure they weren't going to make me start doing push-ups or anything like that. I was like, I've been tricked into that before. So I was like, okay, I just need to make sure I'm not joining the military again. Once a Marine, always a Marine, but I got out. And yesterday was Juneteenth. I was free. Anyway, moving on. So this is your merchant's bond. And I actually filed the merchant's bond because you have to file that with the clerk as well. And this is my actual recorded bond. Now, I included this to give you an idea of what that fee is. And again, it's going to be different for your county, but this just gives you an idea of, what that fee is. Now, that merchant's bond, even though it's $15,000, obviously it doesn't cost $15,000. It's $38 from the National Notary Association. So had to file that too. So I took my oaths of office down there. They have you swear in, raise your right hand, things like that. But again, I wanted to give you guys real world knowledge and actual documents so that you can see it. And then this is the certificate of authorization to manufacture your notary public seal. This goes to the National Notary Association or whoever you use. It has to be this piece of paper. This piece of paper, you can't see it, but it actually has the old school embossing and notary stamp on it. And they're very specific that it has to be this original document. So once they actually manufacture your seal down here at the bottom, they're going to make an impression of a sample of your actual seal there. They're going to have two on there. Excuse me. And they're going to manufacture your seal. The National Notary Association is literally going to send you your bond and everything while you're waiting on your seal and everything like that. All right. Now we're going to talk about setting up and how you're going to actually get started so that you can start that side hustle and start to make some money. These are things that I learned along the way, and wish I had had some knowledge of it beforehand. I want to make sure that you guys do not have to go through some of the pitfalls and jump over some of the hurdles that I had to do. So I'm going to share some things with you that I think are best practices for doing that. So first of all, you're going to want to invest in a good laser printer. Notice I said laser. I recommend a Brother for easy setup and dependability. Just one example there. Or you could do it HP, but the key thing there is laser. Color printers use a lot of ink. They're slower. And of course, I've never had to print docs in color. So, it's just a no-brainer. So you also want to try to buy printers that support an additional paper tray. Reason being, a lot of times your docs are going to be letter and legal size, and you're going to want to have a printer that can handle that dual capability of pulling from a letter tray or a legal tray. Now, sometimes the escrow companies will actually print the docs for you, and you can go pick the docs up. But you're going to find that sometimes, probably more often than not, you're going to want to have the ability to print your own docs, because sometimes where you're going to be signing the people are in the opposite direction of where escrow is. So it's just going to save time. So again, stay away from those inkjet printers. So none of those. Anything that has a cyan, magenta, and yellow cartridge, no. So do not do that. Those, like I said, slower, more costly, things like that. Stock up on letter and legal size paper. Obviously, if they're sending you the docs and you're gonna have to print the docs, a set of loan docs can take up a whole ream of paper. And I'm gonna explain that. Of course, a ream of paper is around 500 pages. When you're going out with the docs, you're going to have an original copy, and you're also going to want to leave them with a copy. So if it's 250 pages, you can do the math. That's going to be 500 pages of paper. So you're going to want to stock up on letter and legal paper. You want to have at least one spare toner cartridge available. That way, if you're printing and you've already printed out the originals, but then God forbid you're printing out those duplicates, you run out of paper, not a good thing. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, so I have dual printers, and I send one job to one printer and one to the other, things like that. Also, what it has helped me do is sometimes there's documents where there's a blank sheet of paper, and it's actually in the PDF, and I'm like, okay, did my paper tray grab an extra sheet or forget a sheet? So it's good when I print to two separate printers that I can look at the originals and the copies. And if the copies have that extra sheet, then I know there's not a problem. But if my copies don't have the same extra sheet, then I know something happened because I sent the same job to both printers. But again, that's way down the road. When you're making a ton of money, you might want to invest in two different printers. Also, too, what I did at one point, I was really busy. I had a little Chrysler 300, and I was so much on the go that I actually bought another laser printer. I bought a power inverter, and on the Chrysler 300, my battery's in the trunk, so I actually hooked the inverter up to a printer where I could print. And lasers pull a lot of current, by the way. They're very power hungry. So I needed a power inverter, but I used to print docs from my trunk. I actually bought a cheapo laptop that I kept in the car, and I'd use my phone as a hotspot. And a couple of times I've needed to literally add some documents that escrow or the lender forgot to add in. And I was able to launch that laptop, print those docs straight from my trunk. And escrow was like, wow, that's awesome. You really are a mobile notary. You want to stock up on pens. I use Pentel pens. I like the fine tip pens because my handwriting by default is doctor's handwriting, if you know what I mean. But these pens, magically, I have such great penmanship. So I use those pens. But other people seem to like those pens too. So they grow legs. And so I go through pens all the time. And I try to keep a good handle on it. But I can tell you times where I've actually let those pens go is when there's a kid at the table, they put it in their mouth, or a dog decides that he wants to retrieve my pen and put his paw on the signing, and I'm like, yeah, you can keep that pen. I'm thinking I'm going to let you have that 80 cents pen. But anyway, stock up on pens. You'll notice I said preferably blue pens. It's been a long time since I heard a lender say, we want you to sign in blue ink. But the theory was back in the day, a blue pen lets them see that it is original signature and it's easy to detect that it's not a copy. So I'd say just get blue pens by default. That way, if they do require you to have blue pens, you already got them. And make some simple business cards. I recommend Vistaprint. If you're an initial customer of Vistaprint, I think your first printing of 500 business cards is about $10. And once you become a notary, you can download, or if you go through the National Notary Association, you can actually download their logo. So I would say put that on your business cards. It could just be simple. You know, I'm a mobile notary service. Boom, make those cards, get those going. I'd say overall, your initial investment is approximately $700 to $1,400. If you just get the classes and everything like that, and you kind of depend on escrow to get you the docs and everything, then of course you don't need all of this extra stuff, the printers and things. And so you're looking at around just the cost of the class. But if you really, really, really want to be dynamic and proactive and have everything ready, then you're looking towards the $1,400. But you heard the math. It's totally worth it. And you only renew every 4 years. So that 700 part is pretty much, you know, you're only going to have to worry about that part every 4 years. All right. Now it is time to fly. So I'm going to give you some tips that I feel are going to help you to grow your business. Number one, solicit your lenders, title and escrow reps for some reciprocal business. Now we've got some lenders on the line probably. And here's the thing. I'm very transparent. I used to be a lender, and I know that a lot of times it's one-way business. There's very little opportunities for reciprocity. So this is that time to say, hey, lenders, hey, man, I give you all my business for my buyers. Can I get a notary? Can you hook me up? Title and escrow. Again, hey, guys, I give you escrows and title. Can you hook me up? So solicit them and let them know about your side hustle. Let them know that, hey, I'm trying to make a little extra money on the side. If you do go through the National Notary Association, I believe they own the website signingagent.com. You want to make a profile with signingagent.com. A lot of companies that are looking for a notary are going to go on signingagent.com, and they're going to want to look for you there. So I get hit up all the time. Hey, Curtis, can you do a signing? And, you know, here are the parameters of that signing. Now, I will say that over the years, I don't want to say I've gotten arrogant or bougie, but it's just I value my time and I recognize my worth. So when I get those requests to do a signing in Los Angeles for $75, I'm like, no, I think I'm going to pass on that. It's going to cost me that in gas and in nerves and stress. And here's the thing. When you're doing a signing, usually that first page is going to be the settlement statement. So you can actually see what they're charging for a notary, and then you know what you're getting paid. So not that the signing services are bad. I'm just going to say that it's probably better if you get your own side hustle and talk to these entities directly rather than have a signing service broker you out. Because like I said, you're going to see what the fee is, and then you're going to know what you're getting paid. And when you see they're paying a notary $300 and you're making $90, yeah. So anyway, that's my recommendation on that. As I mentioned too, a notary signing agent, they're different. You actually know loan docs. You don't have to get this designation or this extra training, but I recommend it, especially if you're just starting out. Become a notary signing agent. Some actual title companies will require you to be an NSA, and they're going to want to see your credentials. And basically what it is, of course, the National Notary Association has this training and everything like that, but it shows that you've been trained specifically on how to sign loan docs. I can't tell you how many times I have had escrow companies call me up and say, Curtis, can you go out and sign these people? And it's a redraw. They're redrawing the docs because somebody's cousin is a notary, and they were like, I'll do your signing for free. And they sent that cousin out against the title company's recommendations, and they have missed some key areas where they need to sign on the loan application. I don't know if we're still calling it a 1003. I imagine we probably are. But there's very specific places, especially with the new loan application, where there needs to be initials in certain places. And a regular notary who is not specifically trained is going to miss things. They're not going to know what to look for. Sometimes there's areas on the documents, FHA, VA things, whereas their name isn't typed in, and you're going to have to recognize that there's some hidden areas. So I'd say get that specialized training, and then you're going to kind of stand out. Also with the NSA, they do a background check every year. So I pay for a background check and things like that. And so that's just an extra feather in your cap. So I recommend that you get that. Join mobile notary websites and services, preferably ones that don't require upfront fees. There are some companies out there that actually require you to pay fees. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I'm a notary and I'm trying to make money. I'm not trying to put out money. That's the wrong direction. I'm not opening my wallet to give out money. I'm opening my wallet to receive. And so I subscribe to the theory that it is better to receive than to give when we're talking about business and notary. So, join those sites, but just be careful if they're asking you for money. Be willing to go where no man or woman is willing to go. This is very important. When companies ask me, Curtis, will you go to Los Angeles before they can get finished, I'm like, yep, I'm on it. And the reason I say that is because of this. You're going to build a rapport, and you're going to start being the person in their mind that can get the job done. And I'm that person. So as long as the pay is directly proportional to the insanity of driving, then I'm like, yes. And again, a lot of the signings are around $250. So it works out in the wash. Yeah, you may have to go out of your way a little bit, but then that same company is going to hopefully give you signings that are down the street from you. So it should come out in the wash. And I've actually had title and escrow companies say, hey, Curtis, this one's a little far. So we've put 300 in the file, or we put 350 in the file, or, we literally, feel that this is a big signing. It's, 300 pages. So we put a little extra in there. But be willing to go where other notaries aren't, because it's going to make you stand out. Always be available. They're like, Curtis, I need you to go to Big Bear at 8:00 and do a signing. I'm like, I'm there. I don't even ski, but I'm going to bring my skis. I'm like, yes, I'm there. Make drop-by visits frequently. Out of sight equals out of mind. It's the same thing with the title reps. You guys know your title reps visit you all the time. Hey, just checking to see if you need anything. They may bring donuts or something like that. But think about it. If you don't see that title rep and they're not constantly soliciting your business, nothing bad against you. You kind of forget about it. So make sure that you touch base with them and say, hey, I'm here. I know you may have your own notaries and things like that, but I'm just here to let you know that I am available. The most important time to do that is around the last week of the month. For you lenders out there, or you're in real estate, towards the end of the month, they're trying to get the files closed, because the closer you close to the end of the month, the less per diem as far as the closing costs are concerned. And so, yes, they're trying to get stuff done. And I've had some panic Hail Mary calls, like literally when it's the last day to fund and record at the end of the month. Curtis, can you go to Alaska? Oh, wait a minute, that's out of California. I've had some panic calls. So definitely the time you really want to go and give out those donuts and make those house calls is toward the end of the month. Make sure you visit those people. Be willing to offer a same-day turnaround. I've had just last week, Curtis, guess what? I just got the lender docs, and guess what? They want to try to fund and record tomorrow. So can you go to San Diego, sign them, bring the docs back to me, or drop them off at my house? And that way we can fund and record the next day. And I'm like, you betcha. You already know the answer. And then reap the rewards. So lastly, I want to show you just what you can reap from being all those things that I just told you guys about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new share here and just give a little example of what's been happening for me over the years. Okay, so these are my past notary invoices. Can everybody see the screen? Everybody see that? Okay, I literally have signed people from A to Z. I am not kidding you. A to Z. These are all the invoices since 2006. Some probably aren't even in here. In the beginning, I didn't do a good job of, recording my invoices, but literally, guys, A to Z. Even the letter X. These are all the invoices. Some are 200, some are 250, some are 300, some there's one in there that's for 650, and I'm just like, and all in between. So this is literally what you can do. There's hundreds in here. I've been invited to 3 housewarming parties, and I went to all 3 of the housewarming parties. Reason being is I go a little bit above and beyond the call of duty. When I see that someone is nervous about signing docs and they're a first-time home buyer, I tell them, hey, okay, listen, I'm here in a notarial capacity. So my job is just to identify you and witness you signing. But off the record, I understand loan docs. And if you've got questions, I can answer. Now, I'm only saying that for instructional purposes only. They're going to tell you, do not answer any questions. In fact, you can actually notarize in a foreign language. You don't even have to know what the docs say. But if you get good at it and you want to make your lenders feel at ease with using you and using you frequently, then, hey, that's what I do. That's just me personally. So I tell them, listen, the whole time your real estate agent has been with you, they've been holding your hand throughout the transaction. Your lender's been in the background. But then when it comes time to sign the most important documents that you're pretty much going to probably ever sign in your life, some random person shows up and none of your support group is there. So I'm here to support you. And like I said, as a result, people have been like, you got to come to my housewarming party. And it's so funny. And all 3 of the housewarming parties that I've been to over the years, they're like, so are you the realtor? I'm like, no. They're like, the lender. I'm like, no. They're like, who are you? And I'm like, the notary. And they're like, the notary? And I'm like, hey, they invited me to come out. And I don't know if you saw in the examples as I was scrolling through the invoices, but I've actually signed people 2 and 3 times. And that's a result of either the client requesting me every year when they do a refi, or the lender saying, yeah, escrow, Curtis is my signer. In fact, I've had some lenders get really heated with escrow because escrow sometimes they want to do the notary. They want the people to come to them because they realize the value and the money that can be generated. I'm going to end on this note and also tell you, speaking of that, I had an agent. I mentioned it before. Some of you weren't in the room yet, but I mentioned before one of my real estate agents, and I believe it was 2021. He did nothing but notaries. He didn't do any real estate transactions. He made just over $300,000 that year, just doing notaries. I'm going to say that again, just in case your computer glitched or you thought you didn't hear me right, or the acoustics in your headset were wrong. 300,000. Now, he was hustling, which is the title of this presentation. He was averaging about 5 to 6 a day on average, and he was available all the time. He would go sign people at midnight in LA, but just wrap your head around $300,000. That's significant. There's doctors and lawyers that don't make that. And remember, this is off of a 1-day class with a test at the end, and you have to do it just every 4 years. So I'm going to leave you with that. I want to thank you guys so much for your time, and I want to open it up for questions. Got a few minutes here before I have to get on the road.
All right, great. Does anyone have any questions for Curtis?
I have one. This is Doretha Thompson.
Hello, Doretha.
Oh, hey, Curtis. First off, I want to thank you for your very thorough presentation. It was very good.
Thank you.
Secondly, I'm never going to forget your name because that's my daddy's name.
Uh-oh. All right. I like him already.
But now for the question. Can you talk a little bit about the liability? Like, for instance, what happens if you sign someone up and they had a fraudulent document, but you did everything that you were supposed to do? What would happen?
That's a fantastic question. First of all, you've got your E&O insurance, and your E&O insurance covers errors and omissions. Now, of course, if it's a notarial act that you knowingly notarized and it was your fault, then that's going to be on you. But if someone does a fraudulent document and you're not the wiser because you're not a document authenticator, it's not your job to authenticate the document. You're just literally witnessing them sign. I'm going to say you're home free. And as you can see, I've done 1 or 2 notaries in my career. I've never had that happen, ever. I've never had that happen. So I'm going to say that you're going to be safe. Now, not to say that somewhere in the background, somebody probably did something fraudulent, but I didn't know about it. And your titling and your escrow people too have insurance, which is why a lot of them will require you to have E&O. Some will even make you be certified with them. Don't get me started on that. That's a whole nother class because I feel like if the Secretary of State says that I can notarize anywhere in the state of California, then, and you lenders will appreciate this, that's an overlay to me, making me jump through hoops and take their tests when I've already proven that I'm a notary. But whole nother class, but some actual title and escrow companies make you be on their approved list. I will tell you too that some big ones will say, if they find out you have a real estate license, they're going to put you on a special list, which no one can seem to find, and they tend to assign another notary while they're looking to find you on their list. But did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
You are very welcome. I see Clinton James, that's an awesome name, has a hand up there.
Hey, Curtis, what's going on, man? I'm so glad to actually see another brother out there hustling, doing notaries. I'm a notary too myself.
All right. Then you understand the hustle.
Yes, I do, man. I do. Trust me. It's not easy.
Nope.
But the benefits are good. But I wanted to touch on two things. I want to say great presentation. I mean, you're perfect for this. Doing a presentation on notaries. A lot of things that you touched on. Definitely, I wasn't in some of the things I've not been aware of, and I've had my commission. I've renewed my commission 3 times, so definitely you're very thorough. But one of the things that I wanted also to put out there and ask you about is, I know there's 3 things. How do you track your miles? Because I use QuickBooks Self-Employed. I think being a notary, that's just a little thing that you want to do as making sure that you can get the benefit of your tax returns and tracking your miles. What do you use? And also a PDF sorter. I've had problems trying to find a PDF sorter to sort out the legal and letter size pages. Because when the lenders send it, they'll send the packet, but they don't tell you where the legal and letter size pages are. Then usually you have to go through it and sort it. So do you have a PDF sorter, or do you have a printer that actually does that itself? And the last thing, 3 things is the Fidelity certified. Do you recommend getting Fidelity certified?
Okay, so to answer your first question, as far as the mileage tracker, I use the cheap way. I like things that are free 99. So I will literally use Google Calendar and Google Maps. And so I make an appointment with Google Calendar, and I'll put the address in there, and then I just go back through, and you can go on Google Maps and say, okay, how far is it from my house to where I did the signing? And Google directions will literally show you it's this many miles depending on which route you take. So that's how I handle that. I believe your second question was for the printers. I use PDF Pro, Adobe PDF Pro, but I don't think you have to have Pro. But when I go to actual print the documents, when that print page comes up, there are 2 boxes that you want to make sure that you have checked. And sometimes the docs will even have instructions for the notary on how to print the docs. The first box you want to print is choose paper source by PDF. So you're going to want to let the software choose the paper size, which is why I told you guys to invest in a laser printer that has dual trays. And you want to make sure that in the software, you have that second tray activated, and you tell the software that the second tray is legal documents. Brother printers are extremely easy to set up. You can always count on a brother. So they're great, easy to set up. I recommend those. They've got a host of different laser printers, but make sure that that's checked. Also, fit. You want to check the box that says fit to the page. So that way the software knows if it's letter, fit it to the page. If it's legal, fit it to the page. Those 2 check boxes will ensure that it knows how to grab the paper. And I've had docs where some are letter, some are legal. It literally will grab from the letter tray, then grab from the legal tray. So it solves those problems. And then the third question, I believe, is about Fidelity and getting set up with them. Clinton, sign up and get set up with as many entities and platforms as you can, because you just never know when they're going to call and have you sign docs. But what it also does is it protects you. Whereas if your preferred lender wants to use you, and Fidelity, the first thing they're going to say is, let me see if they're on our approved list. They're going to check and see if you're on the approved list. If you're not, they will fight tooth and nail to make sure their notary gets the signing, not you. So yes, it's definitely worth it. It doesn't cost any money. I've had so many issues, though, with me having a broker's license that, and I don't know if Liz Rhea is still a compliance officer, but there was a lady named Liz Rhea that worked for Fidelity. She says, Curtis, just save this email. But on the email, it says, Curtis Doss is approved He is a real estate broker, so he's on a special list, but he is approved to do loan doc signings as long as he or his company, Kinnear Real Estate, isn't a party to the transaction. So I save that email, and the minute they tell me I don't see on the list, I send that email back and say, well, talk to Liz. But yes, short answer, yes, definitely get set up with Fidelity. Couldn't hurt. And literally you have to, have that loan signing agent certification, and you have to have at least $100,000 E&O. Did that answer all your questions, Clinton? Did I forget anything?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Any other questions out there? All righty. Well, I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, again. I've got to, of course, be that rocket that you see on the screen, or that you saw on the previous screen, whereas I got to get out of here. But it was truly a pleasure. Thank you, Rhea. Thank you, Parisha. I am so honored to have been on here, and I'm bummed that I don't get a chance to hear the other great speakers. But love to come back for any other topic that may be related to what I do. But again, thank you guys so much.
All right. Thank you, Curtis. And, you probably will be seeing Curtis at our conference in October. So thank you. Have a great rest of the day, and we will see you soon.
All righty.
All right. So we are actually see ya. Woo! Now, I hope you guys enjoyed that presentation. He was very thorough. We love us some Curtis. I've known Curtis for a long time as well. And so we are getting ready for our next presentation, which is Leland.
Yeah. Leland Rubin.
Oh, yes. Okay, there you are. Okay.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure you don't mind us starting a little bit early, because I know you have somewhere you have to be, and we want you to I don't want you to be stressed. I want you to be able to pace it the way you need to pace it, sir.
Okay.
So cool. Do you have access? Do you need access to the screen share?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let me see. How to do that. Rhea, have you been screen sharing, or maybe LJ? You want to?
I just made him a co-host.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right. You can get started, sir, as soon as you're ready.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for having me on here today. My name is Leland Rubin. I am the co-founder and also Senior Executive Vice Chairman of Global Financial Impact. But before I get started here today, I just want to say thank you so much to Zaretha Thompson, who invited me here today just to kind of share some information with you all. And Parisha, thank you so much for introducing me here today. My whole goal here today is to give you guys some great information about a side hustle that can really be something that can be beneficial to you in your businesses. I work with a ton of people in real estate. I have many brokers on my team. I have agents on my team. And the reason why is because working in the financial arena, being a financial strategist, and also working with all the retirement products and mortgage protection products, it gives you a great opportunity to have an add-on to be able to now explode your business. I'll give you a little bit of my background. I've been in business and finance for 23 years. I've actually been in this type of financial arena for the last 11 years. I have 700 licensed agents. I grew up in San Francisco. And most of all, I have a big heart and a big mission to try to help people around all 50 states, and we're actually global as well. So I'm going to jump into my presentation here today. And hopefully you guys have some questions for me here at the end. But my whole goal is just to inform you, give you the great information that we're doing. And I want you to be thinking about some questions you could ask me at the end, because one stat I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you a riddle. Where do most people go when they pass away? You want to know where they go? They usually GoFundMe. And so what we do is we try to stop that, and we try to make sure that we avoid all that, because over 60% of the people in our great country don't even have life insurance. So let me jump into this and see if I can bring this up for you here today. Can you guys see my screen? Yes, great. Yes. All right, awesome. You can see that. All right. So the name of my company that I'm a co-founder with is called Global Financial Impact. Global Financial Impact means that we are inspiring people around the globe. Currently, right now, we have 4.5 billion people on the planet that are financially illiterate. So we work in all 50 states, and we work in 31 different countries. And our primary goal is to give education, to make sure that people get educated, to make sure people have the correct resources, but most of all, so people have the correct information. So I'm really big on information. There's 31 books written on tax-free retirement. Most people don't even have those. And our whole vision is to become the number one inspirational marketing financial company. So what is inspirational marketing? Something that we trademarked. Well, as I go around the US, I just came back from the East Coast last week. There's three things that we want to do. The first thing we want to do is we want to educate people. So most people have 401ks, 403bs, but even as business owners, when people are in real estate or they have S corps or they have C corps, they don't even know about tax code 162A. What does tax code 162A do? It allows you to create your own tax-free retirement and get an 8 to 15% tax reduction on a place where you can put your money and take out tax-free distributions. Well, we want to make sure people know that information because most people don't have it. The second thing we want to do is we want to encourage people. It's really big on encouraging to take a look at where you're at financially. So I'm going to be talking about some examples and I'll give you one here right now. Let's say, for instance, a person says, hey, I'm running a great business, but I want to retire when I'm 65. I want to retire when I'm 70. And if you lived from 65 to 85, 20 years, and you wanted to live off of $10,000 a month, well, that's almost $120,000 a year. That's $2.4 million net when you get ready to retire. So we want people to look at those facts and say, how do you get there? So what do you want? How do you get there? And how do you stay there? So we want to encourage people to look at where they're at. Then third thing we want to do is inspire people to actually make moves. So getting things like rolling over their money or putting their money in the correct places is what we kind of specialize in. We're a non-captive organization, so we don't work with companies that we're captive to. We're able to help all people exactly where they're at. So we have a big vision to empower over 100 million families to achieve financial independence and become the largest financial leadership movement in the industry. So how does this help people that are in certain arenas? Very easy. Let's say if a person has a business and they're working in a business and they only close once every other month or every 2 months or every 3 months. A lot of the realtors that I have been able to help and brokers that I've been able to help is fill in the gaps of their income because we get paid 8 times per month. So as a side hustle, we get paid 8 times a month. I get paid every Tuesday and every Friday based on the rep size of my business. So it means that I'm constantly collecting income based on the fact of the amount of the clients that we help. And so becoming the largest financial leadership movement, we're not in the sales business. We know based on the stats of the government that the government is helping us tremendously. 88% of all people in the US have the wrong retirement plan. Most people have no financial education, but most of all, they don't even know where to get that to be able to get started. Okay. So we have some core values, and I'll just talk about one that's called transparency here today. I want to be very transparent with you about finances. When we talk about transparency and finances, there are 2 types of financial arenas that are going on. One of the informed and one of the uninformed. So what does that mean? When people don't know about their finances, they just keep working. How many of y'all have basically seen people that are older working at Walmart and Target, or people now in California where I live at, people that retirement age is approaching 70 years old? It's because there's no transparency. You can't just do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. You got to have some planning in place. And by the way, guys, we don't charge anything for our planning. So it means that everything that you're getting information from us is free because we're a broker dealer. We charge the companies, not the clients. So let me give you an example. When I was a full life security license agent, when I was back when I was a VP, everybody who came to me that sat down with me had to pay. So they had to pay for Morgan Stanley or Charles Schwab or any of these guys to try to get the information and put their money in the stock market. Whereas what we do, we sit down with you and we have contracts with these organizations that pay us to inform you and educate you on basically how you can take advantage of it. So what is the biggest thing that we do? We show people how they have strength in selection. So there's a lot of people who basically that are out there right now that don't understand what's available to them. So I spoke at a big company the other day. It's a company called Christie's out in Campbell. They have like 700 licensed agents that work in real estate. And I asked them some questions. I said, hey, how many of your agents have an account that's set up to where they got set up for retirement? Nobody raised their hand. I said, hey, how many of you guys have, if you got sick, how would you actually be able to still pay for the assets that you have? Nobody raised their hand, which means that there was really no planning in place. So we kind of showed them how some of these companies do all that. Companies like National Life Group or Mutual Omaha or Prudential or BMI, all these different type of organizations that work with us are able to actually provide things like living benefits and all these different types of things that we do. So we're able to have people come work with us and be a distribution model. I want you to think about this today. I'm in the distribution game, not in the sales game. We distribute to people. I'm working on a big product right now with a project with all pastors right now in America. So I became the president of our church board in our organization. Why? 99% of all pastors don't even have any retirement at all. And most churches are upside down financially. If you were to actually go into your church and ask about the financial prowess or where it's at, you'd be shocked to know that many of them don't have those things in place. So what is it really that a person could actually take advantage of our platform? If you're working on our platform, you actually have the solutions to most people's problems. Whether they need a tax advantage wealth accumulation, or they need asset protection, or they need college funding or debt management or business owner strategies. I worked with the business owner yesterday, and we're going to help 55 of their employees be able to set up a plan. This is something that you could do and be paid extremely well for doing it. Or living benefits. Guys, did you know that 83% of all people in America don't even have living benefits or even mortgage protection? Let's talk about that. Let's say a person goes out, they sell a house, they get a mortgage on their house, but if they don't have anything in place like living benefits or long-term care or even an index product, if they were able to get sick or pass away, how would they pay that? How would the family pay for that mortgage? So during COVID, we were able to help thousands and thousands of people around America who had mortgages. You know what they had? They had living benefits, and COVID was called a chronic and critical illness, and they all got to keep their homes. So we were able to instruct them, be able to pull out $7,000 to $10,000 every single month to pay that mortgage, and you could add that on to your repertoire if you're helping people in that arena. Now let's talk about the industries. We're kind of a big industry. Finance is at $109 trillion. I'm a little L fell down right there. But finance is $109 trillion. Real estate's at about $33 trillion, and retail's at about $26 trillion. So whenever we look at the industries, we kind of look at the opportunities of how many people we're serving. So a person like myself, like I said earlier before, I have like 6,000 people in my book of business. Why do I have so many people? Because I spoke at Google, Facebook, and LinkedIn, Instagram, and Instacart. And what do I find out at those companies? Nobody has a tax-free retirement. Everybody's retirement is 100% taxable. Everybody has government-owned plans. So once again, if you have stock, bond, mutual fund, Bitcoin, those are government plans because every time you touch them, the government charges you taxes. But the wealthy, they stick their money inside of index strategies, and that's kind of what we teach a lot of people who come and work with us. Okay, so here's the way that it's very easy for us to close in our business. Take a picture of this, you guys. So the current way of doing things is not working. So whenever I sit down with clients or groups, here's the stats from the Wall Street Journal. The fact that people from the ages of 60 to 69 years old in the country only have $182,000 in their retirement. 40% of all divorces are due to financial problems. 60% of Americans get diagnosed with an illness that lead to basically have financial stress. Right now, 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and most people never had a financial plan. And we know that most people are not on track to retire. So we address those issues. We attack those issues. We sit down with them and say, we have solutions for that. We can show you how to get your retirement up. We can show you how to basically in the chance of you getting ill or trying to increase interest rates and being able to teach you how you can get interest rates on your money without the stock market. Did you know that you don't need the stock market to get 10 and 15% interest rates on your money? You don't need the stock market for that. And most people are uneducated about that. So you could be a big service to people or even getting people on track to retire. So the ultimate thing that we want to make sure, once again, is that people have the information. When I deal with different types of clients all the time, we find out that people who are wealthy usually have the information and people who are not don't have the information. And we provide that to all people. So if the current way of doing things is not working, we want to change that. And that's our mission. That's our crusade. And that's our vision of what I do every day. So let's talk about one major fact that can really, really help you understand what I'm saying today. We talk about a whole group of people called the baby boomer generation. We talk about timing is everything. So back in 1946, there were 10 million babies that were born. And during that time after World War II, all those soldiers came home. And the number one company that was out there was a company called Gerber. And they were selling almost 2 million bottles per month. And then they started selling 2 million bottles of baby food per week. So baby food was the number one selling asset. Then it became toys. In 1953, there was a guy by the name of Ray Kroc, and he came up with a great idea called McDonald's. And now McDonald's is having 1 billion people killed every single year. Just kidding. You shouldn't be eating at McDonald's if you're on my call here today. Don't be buying those French fries. I see you on here. The next thing, in 1963, there was cars. So the Detroit exploded with cars, and most people are getting in the car industry. In 1972, real estate exploded. But today, the number one selling asset in the whole United States is what? Retirement. Why? If I were to ask you a question right now, how many people you think can retire out of America? There's 341 million people in America. And if you had to know how many people could retire, it is 8%. 8%, according to the Wall Street Journal. So that means that most people who retire go right back to work, or they have a side hustle, or they have to do something that they got to keep on bringing income for their family. Well, we want to teach them how to put their money in the correct place so they don't have to do that, so that they can actually enjoy their retirements, or they can enjoy their lives, or they can pull money out even while they're working. We're in the largest wealth transfer in history. $68 trillion are exchanging hands in the next 7 years for the baby boomer generation that's phasing out. So what we do is address that. We show them how to annuitize their money. We show them how to get distributions on their money. We show them how to cover their assets. We teach them how to get wills and trusts and living benefits and long-term care. We have a whole menu and plethora to where we can meet them where they're at. So the average client that sits down with us always needs something. We're in the business of need, not want. There are 3 major events that I'm going to mention here today that everybody has to do. So you guys want to write these down. The first event that everybody has to go through is at some point in their life, no matter how long they work, at some point they got to retire. So they have to have something set up in lieu of them being able to retire and being able to have a distribution to themselves. The second event that always happens in life is that at some point health declines. It's not a good thing to talk about, but we're into life planners. And so we want to make sure we address that. So you need living benefits or long-term care to be able to take care of you and your family. And then the third thing is that people always transition. And so being able to have things in place to not leave debt, but to pass a legacy. So me being a minister at my church, we talk a lot about legacy. And that's how I started helping a lot of churches and businesses and things of that nature, because we do a lot of number crunching and we find out that most people don't leave legacy, they leave debt. And so we want to try to alleviate that debt through education. Even if you have an asset, if the asset's not covered the correct way, you're going to cause a debt situation for your family. So if the timing is correct right now, this could be something that you could add on and do on the side. And the average agent that is working with me right now that's in real estate makes about $7,000 to $15,000 a month doing this 5 to 10 hours a week, because the crowd is so big, because we have so many people to work with. We never run out of clients, guys. Never. I never run out of clients, ever. Matter of fact, I'm probably sitting on here talking to somebody that needs something that I have today. All right. So we're a hybrid model. We do inspirational marketing and financial services. We have a franchise type model where you own your own business, not your book of business, but you own your own business. And then we have brokers and agents that are similar to real estate. The difference between us and the real estate business is that we don't have to pay the broker at all. All 100% of all money goes to the agent. And then the broker actually gets paid from the corporation, not the agent. So it's very, very similar, but a little bit different because you're actually always getting paid. I'm a broker, and basically I have all those agents, but I don't make any money off them. The company pays me to train my agents. And that's the reason why I like what I do so much. So I can train as many agents as I want, but I'm so happy that they keep 100% of all their money. And then I still get paid a stipend as well to be able to do that. Let's take a look at the types of incomes and how we get paid 8 times a month. Well, we get paid from a different perspective. You have personal income where you might just want to help some people and you might want to do it on the side. You get a life insurance license and you help people on the side. Number 2, you might want to have an agency, or number 3, you might want to expand. I work in a lot of different third world countries like Mexico and Costa Rica and Japan and Taiwan. And this is the fun part of my job because most of those people don't have any of the information. We have bonus incomes and then massive passive income. So this is something that I'll speak to a little bit. We're able to design our own massive passive incomes based on the size of our organization. So you can design how much you want to have at retirement time based on building a passive income, which means that right now, if I were to retire, I know how much money I'm getting right now. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, for the rest of my life, I know what my retirement is. And then we have stock options and equity options for those who want to get involved in that as well. So you get to kind of choose the way you want to get paid. We have some people that just come in and they say, Leland, I just want to make some money. That's awesome. We have some people that say, hey, I want to expand and work in other countries like Mexico. You can do that. Or you might want to build a massive passive income. Whichever one you want, it's open to you. Or you could be what I do. I do all six. Okay. Here's just some examples of how we do this. And here's a simple computation that we show people. The left side of our organization just shows your personal income. So if a person was working with us, the average person in America saves about $300 to $500 a month in their 401k. So we based it on that. So if a person saves $500 and you were working with us, you basically could make anywhere between $2,700 to $5,100 per client. So if you did 3 of those a month, that's $10,000. If you did 3 clients a month, that's $10,000 a month. If you did more, it's more. On the right-hand side, then basically it's just an agency model where people are actually building agencies. And I train a lot of people to build their own part-time agency. And these are just examples of that. In the middle right here is for people who build massive passive incomes, and you're able to build that 7 generations deep. So our compensation is allowing you to scale. Now, we don't have an MLM style to our business. You are a free agent to do whatever you want. You scale your business the way you want. I teach my agents, you feed yourself the way you want to feed yourself. So that's based on your time, your commitment, and how you want to run your business. So let me give you an example. I have a little kid that's on my team right now, and he's about 23 years old. He came to me 2 years ago, and he said, hey, I want to learn this business model. And I said, you're kind of young. I don't really usually work with too many people your age. He says, well, I have a plan in mind. I want to take your business model, and I want to put it on a thing called TikTok. Now, at the time, I didn't know much about TikTok, but he actually took our model, put it on TikTok, and now he makes about $750,000 per year. So just by doing videos on TikTok every day, he was able to scale his business and be able to do that. So the compensation is wide open. You can kind of do what you want. What I'm going to close out here with today is here's 10 things that makes us different than any other company that's out there. Number one, you own your business. So we offer ownership. That not own your book of business, own your business. So that actually means that whatever business that you build, you can pass that to your family. So you're able to pass it to your kids, you're able to pass it to your grandkids, you can put it inside of your trust. Whatever you want to do, you own your business. I have 5 beautiful kids, and I'm super proud today to know that if something happens to me, that my kids are taken care of because my business will take care of them. Number 2 is we have a very competitive compensation contracts. We only work with AAA rated companies. So we don't work with companies that are not AAA rated. So all the companies that I showed a little bit earlier, those are all 100-year-old companies that have to be $1 billion in valuation. We have a great winning culture, and we do a lot of leadership things, and we have technology. So I want to talk a little about the technology that we have, because a lot of people say, Leland, are you a life insurance agent? I'm like, no, I'm a financial strategist. But one of the fun things that I get to do every day is we have a program where you no longer need any type of agent to do your will, your trust, or any type of insurance or retirement products you want. You can actually scan a QR code now, and in 5 minutes, you'll find out what you are offered. It's a company called Ethos, and that's part of our technology. So we've gone into AI to where now artificial intelligence will tell you what type of plans that you are confirmed to be able to receive. So there's no longer the days of you having to worry about going to someone's house, trying to get them to do a blood test, or trying to get into their personal business. You can send them a QR code and they can do it all on their own, and you still get paid to do that. So we have a ton of people that just like to send out QR codes, and they like to basically help people. I do a lot of that at churches because I know people are very sensitive about their personal information. So we just give them a QR code and let them go ahead and solve it, and we still are able to help them. We have a lot of charitable contributions and great leadership. We have a thing called a plug and play system. So we don't take up a lot of your time. What we do is every single day on Zooms like this, you get trained on what products to use. You get trained on how to scale your business. You're able to take the recordings and do that and be able to duplicate yourself as fast as you want to go. So when people come in on the side, this is why this is such a great side hustle, is we have a plug and play system to where you can just get going and get ready to do your thing as fast as you want to. So, hey, I hope that I said something today that's kind of eye-opening. We have a lot of different types of things that we do for people. We have referral agents. We have revenue sharing. If you are a business owner you can partner with us. A lot of business owners partner with me and they do profit revenue sharing. We have part-time, we have agency owners, whatever a person really wants to do, they can scale their income and do that. But it's a great thing to fill in because I've already have experience with working with certain industries where people come to me all the time and they're very, very excited and happy the fact that they can make, 5, 10, 15, 20,000 on the side of their business. And if they decide to take it higher, they have the option to be able to do that. But we are just here to just let you know today. It's just something that you can be interested in doing. If you are interested in doing it, I'll leave something in the chat that you can click on and be able to leave your information and we can reach out to you or send you a video. And if you're interested in that, we'd be great to have a further conversation. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and pass it back to you. If anybody has any questions for me, please feel free to ask those questions.
Yes, it looks like Tanisha has a question. Go ahead, Tanisha.
Hi, great presentation, Mr. Rubin. Thank you. Just a question. Just curious, what made you get into this business and into the insurance game?
All right, cool. So what made me get into this business is I was a vice president of a big firm in downtown San Francisco called Granite Solutions Group. I was there for 13 years and was a VP of the company. And back in 2015, our company took our profit revenue sharing and went from a company called Fidelity over to Morgan Stanley. And when they took our stock options and switched it over, they put our stock options into their very aggressive funds, and our company lost 97% of our retirement money. So I lost 1.3 million in 401ks and stock options. And at that point, I realized that I was still uneducated. Even though I was a vice president, I was uneducated about money. I thought I knew about money, but I didn't know how to protect my own. And I thought I knew about money, but I didn't know how to plan for the future to make sure I have my tax-free distributions. So at that time, somebody invited me down to take a look at this presentation that I'm kind of showing you today. And I found out that 88% of all people in the country don't even have retirement the correct way. So that's what got me interested in doing this. And I thought I would do it on the side, start helping people. But in my first year of business, I picked up 400 clients. And so I fired my boss and never looked back, became an entrepreneur. That's kind of why I did it.
Okay, that's great. Does anyone else have any questions for Leland?
I do have a question. This is Suzanne Maribel. I'm a real estate agent.
Huh?
And question for you, do you just need your life insurance license to get started?
That is correct. You only need a life license, and you can get that in 7 to 10 days. You can scale your business as fast as you want just with a life license, because life licenses allow you to deal with all the companies and all the products.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Is there a cost to join your company?
Yes, it's $199. So you pay $200, and that gives you your 1099 contract. So you're a 1099, you get paid 100% up front. You take care of your taxes. You get all the training, the product training. You get all the plug and play systems, all the back office. You only pay that one time. That's not continuous, and you get your life license, and that's it. So you pay $199, and now that's really for you to be on the platform to operate and to work with all 50 companies that we have.
Okay, thank you. I see there's another hand. Go ahead, Teresa.
Yes. Could you tell me, please explain, you own your business, but not your book of business. So how does, yeah.
Yeah, I like that, because a lot of people say I own my book of business, and then that book of business is not going to be beneficial to them if they're no longer working that book or they don't pass it or sell it. In our business, you don't ever have to sell your business, ever. You own it. And so like for me right now, I'm training my son. My son is 20 years old and he works in my business. So I'll be doing this business maybe for another 10 years. When I get done doing this, I'll pass my business to my son, but I still get paid. So it means that I still override the business. So I can watch my son take off and he can go be a CEO and all that. But my passive income still comes to me because it's associated with my code that I own my business. So I never have to give my business. And if I pass away, automatically it goes to my wife. So my wife automatically steps in and takes over my business, even though she's in business with me, but she would just take over the business. So you truly own that, and you get a document signed by an attorney and by the founders of our company that you actually have proof that you own that business, and you can pass it to your family for the rest of your time.
Good. Thank you for clarifying that. Also, I wanted to ask you another question. Now, I heard you say that you're in Mexico, and I know usually you're licensed in one state and then appointed in others. So, how are you able to do business all over the country and all over the world? Well,
Great.
I don't know
Yeah.
about all over the world.
Great question. Really great question. So we are a broker dealer, not an insurance company. So insurance companies work for me. I don't work for them. So I'm not captive to anybody. My license works in all 50 states. So I don't have to have a license just in California. I'm licensed in all 50 states. So all the insurance companies want us because we have the biggest distribution. That's number one. Number two, in third world countries like Mexico and Peru and Costa Rica, you just have to be a representative. You don't even have to be licensed. You can just be a representative and you fill out forms in those countries. And there's a company called BMI that's had contracts in those countries for 50 years. And they actually are one of the companies that work for us. So they already have establishments in those countries and we're able to distribute in those countries. So because we're broker dealers, like the difference between a broker dealer and an insurance agent means that, like, if you work for Allstate, you will push an Allstate product, whether if Allstate was the right product for the client or not, because you work for Allstate. If you work for New York Life, you're going to give somebody a New York Life policy, whether it's good for them or not. Whereas what we do is we actually sit down with the client and solve their issues because we got 50 options for them to figure out which one is going to work for them because everybody's at a different plethora. So everybody's at a different financial situation. So we want to make sure we give them the right type of products that fit them.
Okay. You know what? Another question just popped up real quick. Now, I heard you say, as because you are a broker dealer, you only work with AAA rating.
Yeah.
Companies? Okay.
Yeah. So AAA rated companies. So you have insurance companies and financial firms that get rated every year by the S&P, by Moody's, by the NASDAQ. So there's a rating system that they have for financial firms. And those ratings go AAA, AA, single A, B, C, like that. We only work with the AAA rated ones, which means that number one, they've been around for 100 years. And number two, they're a billion-dollar corporation. So that's the only way they can be on our platform. They're not allowed to work on our platform unless they're AAA rated. And that's how we keep such great reputation with all of our clients. So you guys have probably heard this song, Nationwide is on your side, right? So Nationwide is a company that basically has been around for almost 100 years, or National Life Group has been around 175 years. And so all these corporations that are around, we only pick the ones that are AAA rated. So that way the client knows that they're in great hands and that they're protected by the Securities Investment Protection Committee, which means that tomorrow, if the whole entire United States financial system collapses, that client still has their money because their money's insured. They have their money insured. That means that their money is always there.
Thank you. I'm done. Thank you, Leland.
Cool. Anybody else?
So, Mr. Frank, would you be ready? And have we given you the stuff we needed to have you share your screen?
Let me see here. It looks like I do, yes.
Okay, well, when you are ready, sir, you can go ahead and start.
Okay. Hey, caveat real quick. As LJ was saying, I apologize for the lighting. I'm actually outside the ER and have been here all night with my mother-in-law. So by chance, if I get a phone call and have to close things up, I apologize in advance. So hopefully that won't happen.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for letting us know, and sorry to hear that.
Oh, no worries. Just if I close up and disappear, it's either the battery or something not good is going down. So let's see if I can share this and slideshow play from start. You see that?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. So, again, my name's Paul Frank. I am president CEO of the PDF group of companies. Before I get started, I'm here to talk to you about expanding your business in commercial real estate. By a show of hands, How many of you handle commercial real estate? Okay, beautiful. So you can put your hands down. So those of you that did not raise your hand, this will hopefully be the last time you ever failed to raise your hand. Moving forward after this presentation, your job will be to answer yes anytime that question is asked in the future. So the tools that I'm going to go over with you absolutely work. And I want you to take some good notes. Although it may seem fairly simple, I'll go over the efficacy of these tools and how they're working in real time for us. But before I get started, I want to give you a little bit of my background so you understand where I'm coming from, and you'll see why in a minute. I am, again, President CEO of the PDF group of companies, and I've been a commercial real estate developer and broker for nearly 4 decades. Over my career, I've developed and brokered tens of millions of square feet of real estate throughout the United States and internationally, covering every product type. In addition to my professional experience, I've also been an athlete and a coach most of my life. I've coached over 25 years at the youth, high school, and collegiate level. That's why you'll see people refer to me as Coach or Coach Frank. It's not a title that I just gave to myself. I also have been a business coach and mentor for nearly that long as well. So that overall experience has given me what Coach Dungy refers to as an uncommon perspective. And that perspective has come through a lot of lessons, some of them very expensive lessons, but there's 2 lessons or 2 truths that I want to share with everybody today. And these are very important to the residential agents. Number 1, throughout my career, I have discovered that there is one thing that nearly every single person engaged in commercial real estate at any level has in common. And that is that they live in a house. And by virtue of that commonality, they have something else in common that's even more important to the agents out there. They have a relationship with you. They have a relationship with a residential realtor. And for those of you that think this does not apply to you, you are absolutely wrong. I don't care if you've been in the business for 2 days or 22 years. I don't even care if you're not licensed yet. Every single one of you has commercial relationships in your network. Now, the problem is that traditionally, residential realtors have blinders on. They're looking for that 4-bedroom, 3-bath house that their client wants, and nothing else makes the target screen. It is as if they're looking through the scope of a rifle at that target, and they have what I refer to as peripheral deal vision. So our job, our goal is to help you remove those blinders, secure peripheral deal vision, and take advantage of the opportunities that are literally around you every single day. So I want you to write this one down. CRE, or commercial real estate, is not more complicated. It's just different. Despite what some of the egos or most of the egos in commercial real estate will try to convince you of, commercial real estate is not more complicated. In fact, I am confident that every realtor on this call has the ability to handle a commercial deal. And I'm equally confident that I would be in much more trouble trying to handle a residential deal. All of those disclosures and MLS rules, they scare the heck out of me. There is a reason I have never sold a house in my entire life, but it's not because it's more complicated. It's just different. And I'm going to give you an example outside of real estate to help this thought resonate. I got two of my buddies. Stan is a neurosurgeon, and Steve is a orthopedic surgeon. If you took Stan and threw him into Steve's OR room to save somebody's leg, Stan would be in deep trouble not because orthopedic surgery is more complicated than brain surgery. It's just different. Everybody has their lane. So I told you that you are all capable of handling commercial real estate, but you absolutely don't want to do it on your own. And there are a bunch of different reasons why you don't want to, and a bunch of case studies that I could give you. I'm going to focus on 3 right now. Number 1 is the distraction. Commercial opportunities will come to you through your residential relationships, through your core business, residential real estate. And the minute that you are distracted by this shiny new penny that's a commercial deal, there will be a price for that distraction. And many times it is absolutely devastating. Second reason are the tools that we use in commercial real estate. CRE is a pay-to-play proposition. If you are relying on the MLS or LoopNet to try to compete and represent in commercial real estate, you are going to get your rear handed to you. You are going to get yourself in trouble. And number 3, and most importantly, is the liability. In residential real estate, if you mess up, your liability or exposure may be thousands, tens of thousands, maybe $100,000. In commercial real estate, the stakes are much higher. And to compound this, and this is very important to understand, to compound this, the law assumes that everybody involved in commercial real estate is an expert or has access to experts. So I'll give you an example of that. About, 10 years, 15 years ago, I was asked to consult on a case down in Southern California, Los Angeles. A longtime, super successful Beverly Hills residential agent decided to represent one of his best clients in the leasing of a retail furniture location, literally a box to sell couches out of, seemingly a simple transaction. Well, this agent objectively did not know the difference between a double net, triple net, modified gross, full service lease, and every iteration in between. This lease was negotiated and signed. Now, it was extremely complicated. It's what we call a proprietary lease, meaning drafted by a law firm. It was 65 pages long. But remember, the law assumes everybody engaged in commercial real estate is an expert. So his client took possession of the property only to find out that in addition to base rent, he owed $17,250 a month for 10 years for triple net reimbursements. That's property tax, insurance, common area, and maintenance. $17,250 a month for 10 years, plus escalations, well over a $2 million liability. Those types of mistakes can be life-changing and career-ending, especially, as in his case, if your ICA and insurance doesn't cover you for. So I've told you what you don't want to do. Before I tell you what I think you should do, I want you to consider my why. Why am I here? I'm here because LJ asked me to be. I'm here because, as I said, I'm a coach at heart. It's in my DNA to help people to a fault. I don't have anything to sell you. I don't have a QR code with 50% off. I'm literally here to help you if you are willing to be helped. Now, don't get me wrong. If we work together with, or you work with our team and LJ, that is great for everybody, but that is not my why. In fact, one of the most frequently asked questions I get, both on the athletic coaching side and business side when I get interviewed, is how do I define success? And my answer has always been easy and consistent, especially since my dad died back in the 90s. I personally define success by how many people show up to your funeral and what they have to say. That is a clear indication of what you did with the time God gave you on this planet and the lives that you touched. So hopefully a few of you are going to grab onto these tools and have something nice to say at my funeral, which is hopefully later than sooner. So what to do? It's the 6 steps to expanding your business in commercial real estate. And I'm going to emphasize again, these are simple, but they absolutely work. Number 1, you get a basic understanding of commercial real estate. That does not mean, and let me reinforce this, that does not mean going and spending a bunch of money to get some certification or initials after your name. I have a 6-unit class, about 20 minutes a unit. I do not charge for it. That will give you a foundational understanding of commercial real estate. In fact, I would argue if you have a basic understanding of these 6 principles, you will actually be ahead of a lot of people that make a living in commercial real estate. Number 2, you're going to take the blinders off. You're going to start looking at your clients differently. If you have a VA or assistants, they can mine your CRM, see who in there owns businesses, owns other investment properties, multifamily, office, industrial. They are absolutely in your network without question and without exception. Number 3, you are going to find a referral partner or build a referral team. And I say build a referral team because if you go to the globals, which is CBRE, Cushman, Colliers, Marcus and Millichap, you will literally need a football roster of referral partners because those brokerages isolate their agents into property type, deal structure, and geography. I suggest that you find a generalist because we can handle literally anything anywhere. Important to the selection of that referral partner is that they use what I refer to as team speak. We, not me. They need to be comfortable with allowing you to leverage their resume, their experience into a team narrative. As I tell everybody we work with, whatever I've done, we've done. Whatever I do, we do. Number 4, you are going to build your scripts. These are the non-threatening, non-obsequious questions and statements that will open the door to these opportunities. Number 5, you are going to collaborate with your referral partner on an ongoing and proactive basis. As opportunities begin to present themselves, you'll fine-tune your approach to that opportunity with your referral partner. And then finally, you are going to deploy your scripts. And this may sound overwhelming to some of you, but it literally can be as simple as this. Let's say that your assistant is going through your CRM and finds out that Rob and Kim own several commercial properties and multifamily properties. You had no idea. The next time you see Rob and Kim, you may say something like this. Hey, I was thinking about you guys the other day. My team and I were going over a bunch of our commercial and multifamily transactions. I would love the opportunity for my team and I to help you with your investment properties. Literally a mic drop. You just blew Rob and Kim's blinders off because they never considered you to be a viable option for their commercial real estate needs. So there you have it. Those are the 6 steps to expanding your business in commercial real estate. And I cannot emphasize enough that these absolutely work on a daily basis. We see them work in unbelievable ways. And every single one of you has these opportunities right under your nose. So moving forward, as I said, you now raise your hand, you say yes to commercial real estate opportunities. You are a commercial real estate agent within a team structure. Now, I want to give you a quick example of how I don't know how many of you know who Tom Daves is. Like I said, I've never sold a house in my life, but Tom was, I think, the #1 agent on the planet for Keller Williams for like 7 years. He sat in a similar presentation to this. Literally 2 days later, he went to a listing appointment for one of his clients. And because of this, he said, "Hey, you guys have any commercial needs that you need help with?" And they said, "Well, Tom, by gosh, yeah, we're thinking about selling our industrial building. Do you handle commercial real estate?" He said, "Well, my team and I do a lot of commercial work. I would love the opportunity." Literally within 30 days, we had that listed and sold, and Tom got a referral check for about $24,000 simply for asking that question, which before that presentation, he had never asked. And that's the #1 Keller Williams agent on the planet for 7 years. Like I said, don't quote me on that, but big shot residential guy. We have a $109,000 referral fee that's going out pretty soon. We have a logistics center deal that was a family ranch that we're selling. That referral fee would be about $250,000. And not only that, we structured or are structuring, it's due to close before the end of the year, but we're doing a 1031 exchange. So that will be another $250,000, $300,000 referral fee on top of that for that agent. So those are the 6 points. As I said, they absolutely work. There is absolutely no question that they work. I am easy to find and happy to help. LJ, who's on here, is one of our key team members, especially down in Southern California. We do, again, business opportunities and anything within the commercial realm, nationally and internationally. So we are here to help if you need the help. So with that, it looks like we got a couple chat questions. Where are they?
Yes. Does anyone have any questions for Paul? Just go ahead and open your mic. And
I see Reba did thumbs up to referral checks. Yes, the referral checks can be very, very nice when you partner with a commercial agent.
Anybody got any questions? There are no dumb questions, because if you ask me anything about residential real estate, I would be in deep trouble. So, and LJ knows that.
yeah, I was thinking the same. I was going to ask the same thing. How much is the training class?
Again, I don't charge for it. So you just reach out with that QR code, or reach out to Matt. Probably put his email in there, or you can reach out to LJ. We're recording them. They're only like 20 minutes a module. We're trying to keep them very simple, but I do not charge for them. They're free to everybody, and it will give you a base understanding of commercial real estate.
Okay, great. I see Matt has his hand up. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah. Hey, sorry about that. I was typing in the chat. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate, when we look at doing those referrals, I look at my last residential deal that I did, from the listing agreement to the purchase agreement to the disclosures, just the basic transactional documents that we push back and forth between the realtors and then the principals. I mean, we were at about 70 pages of DocuSign documents, and that check was, 10 to 12 grand. These referral forms are one sheet of paper, and they will not bog you down, because, the PDF group just takes care of it and will keep you looped in. So I just think that that's a huge value when I saw the difference in stacks of paperwork and the payment was the same or better, it's kind of a no-brainer. So definitely ask those questions.
And I'll tell you this too, and like I said, it's not just about PDF and LJ and us. We'd love to work with you, but this is just, once the blinders are off, the opportunities are unbelievable to you people. But for the team, those of you on this call that have teams or even brokers, this is an amazing tool for agent attraction to your team or your brokerage, as well as retention. If you can train your agents how to take those blinders off and increase their GCI through these tools, they will just love on you for that opportunity. It's life-changing for many of them. Some of them, they're adding, as Matt says, adding a 0 to their GCI because of this.
Okay.
And what is silly about it is, and I imagine many of you this will resonate with, the egos in commercial real estate are impressive. And they all seem to have a little black book that says, don't work with residential agents, don't return their phone calls, they are beneath you. And in my opinion, as a coach, I've always worked with residential agents, but when I have that epiphany of, well, gee, every single person in commercial real estate, be it an owner, syndicator, or business owner, tenant, they all live in houses, they all know residential agents. That is the gatekeeper to these opportunities.
I see Gloria has a question. Gloria asked, do the classes allow you to be a referral agent with PDF?
Yes, absolutely. And beyond that, whether you take the classes or not, like I said, we're here to help you. If you have questions, if something comes up, there are no dumb questions. In addition, and I think this would get it to you, that QR code, I do an open mic Wednesday where a bunch of residential agents show up and they just toss out questions and opportunities that come up. And it's kind of a, it's just a, what's that word? When everybody learns together?
Mastermind?
Serendipitous.
Oh, okay. Mastermind.
Serendipitous experience. You know, the only thing that I ask is that nobody ever preface the question with, this is a dumb question, because if I don't know the answer, then I am by default not very smart. So and gosh, LJ at our last one, she threw some bombs out there that I took more notes than anybody else. Any other questions?
Okay, I have a question.
Yep.
So just so that we're just super clear, what is the total cost to start doing commercial real estate today? I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm sold. I want to start doing commercial real estate today. What would be the total cost to partner with you guys? If there is any cost at all, down to a notary or live scan or whatever. I'm not sure, but
yeah, the total cost would be nothing.
Free. Take
the blinders off and take advantage of, I say take advantage of, but the relationships that residential realtors have with these clients, whether they own a plumbing company or they're a hairdresser or whatever they do in life, you're the ones that get invited to the weddings and bridal showers. Commercial agents don't. We don't have that connection that y'all do. So you just need to learn a few little statements to open that door that, hey, if you're got an apartment complex, we do that because we all do that because we all do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
So I do have a question. So say I'm with another brokerage, and we may not necessarily do, have the commercial, build out. And so for a client, if I say, or do you have any, commercial real estate, or et cetera, in there, because I have a team that I work with, and that team could specifically be you, just by me just saying that I have a team, and then they say yes, they're interested, and I can get a referral that way. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. And it's broker agnostic. We do.
Okay.
I had my own brokerage for 35 years, and then I made a move a couple years ago. But we do work with Keller Williams, Remax, Compass, everybody. Unfortunate thing is that a lot of those brands have a little commercial division, and this is not meant to be a blanket truth, but there's not a lot of bandwidth. There's not a lot of experience. It's in some of those people just kind of transition in. We have, like I said, 44 decades of development and brokerage experience in this space. There's virtually nothing we have not done, and there's nothing that we're not comfortable doing. But at the same time, if you have somebody internally to your system, you can certainly explore that, and we're happy to, answer questions and help you down that path. But to answer that question, we are a team member to people with their own brokerages and at every house that's out there.
Thank you for that information.
You betcha.
You got a question in the chat. You did mention you worked in the international market.
Yeah. On the development side, I've developed internationally. Used to do a lot of build to suit work for McDonald's and Burger King and stuff like that. On the brokerage side, we also, within this new framework that we're in, we have the ability to do stuff internationally, be it Canada, Mexico, or even in Europe as well. So if you have opportunities and deals to source, we can assist with that.
And speaking of the international market, I just came back, and I was telling Paul and Matt about it. I just came back from the Bahamas and Puerto Rico, and then I'm also going to Belize in October. And all of these trips, I'm looking at commercial land, I'm looking at retail spaces, and I'm getting leads from those areas. And we work on them as a team.
Yep.
All right, that's great. Does anyone have any more questions for Paul? This has been I didn't realize it could be so easy. They always make you take all these hard classes. But if you just partner with somebody. Oh, go ahead.
I have one.
Shelley.
How do I'm listening on my phone. How do I scan the QR code when I'm on my phone?
Oh,
Shelley, I can get the information over to you. That's because I have your email address, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, anybody? That's a great question. Does anybody else have that issue? Maybe I don't know if you have a list, but feel free to shoot our contact information or your contact information. Make sure everybody has it. But yeah, and just to reiterate, of those 6 steps, getting a base understanding of commercial, it's not an absolute need. It's just a good idea to understand the vernacular and some of the terms. But we, like Tom Daves, literally 2 days after he listened to this, he just said, "Hey, do you have anything?" And boom. And he's got, right now, to give you an idea, he just, I think it's a $7 million office building for another residential client that he's worked with for 25 years. So they are there. And he has not done my little classes either. So, Teresa, question? Or did we already?
Yes, no, I do have a question. So you say you build outside of the country, like in Mexico and things like that. So
Correct.
Yeah, how do you go about, or do you have a portion of your training that shows you how to deal with the process of getting, uh, the legal and all of that stuff there? Because it's much different than the U.S. and every state in the U.S.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, on the development side, that's a different animal. On the brokerage side, we have team members that are Mexican nationals and work down there that we work with together. We have a big project in the Yucatan, for example. Ronnie is heavily involved in Mexico City, so what would happen is if, for instance, if you had some beautiful building in Polanco outside Mexico City, we would most likely hook you up with Ronnie, and Ronnie would help you prosecute that transaction.
And actually, an interest in Yucatan.
Ah, excellent. Yeah, just reach out and we can give you some guidance on what to do. Depends on what the property is, and it's not a what do you call those things? What are the underwater caves? It starts with an X. Anyway, that's one of the properties we out there is a big tourist destination deal with the cenotes. You guys know what cenotes are? There's a big old hole with the beautiful clear water in it. There's a huge travel business there to explore the cenotes. Look it up. It's mind-blowing, these things. I mean, you're going through the jungle and then there's an enormous hole with like Caribbean water in the middle of it, all fresh water. Crazy stuff. Anyway. Teresa, you still have your hand up. Did we answer, or do you have another one?
No, I'm sorry. Thank you for that. I'll just check.
Anything else from you guys? Again, no stupid questions. Awesome. Well, again, you're all invited to Open Mic Wednesday. If you ever have any questions, or feel free to reach out to LJ, and she can definitely get you taken care of too. So appreciate the opportunity and your time and focus, and good luck and God bless.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you.
And
So
I'm going to jump off and go back in the waiting room now. So.
Oh, totally understandable. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Right,
Take care.
So, all right, Latrice, go ahead and take over the second session.
Well, actually, that's just about all of it. So we bring Paul in, myself, Matt, we bring Paul in so he can give you that 37 years of experience and an expert knowledge of how to jump in and be a partner and be a referral partner with us as a team. A lot of times, like he said, you guys have the blinders on and you jump into these, you jump in there and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me try. And then something happens and then you have to turn back around and get help, where we're there in the beginning. Just contact us. It's free. It is absolutely free. Where else can you do something for free and make money? Right? You don't have to put up anything up front. Absolutely nothing. And I'll give you an example. We had a residential agent that I worked with. And this residential agent I talked to him, hey, this is what you can do. And it was with my previous brokerage. So they came in, said, okay, this is what we do. This is how we can help. They did the referral, got a 25%. And I'm going to let you guys do the math. I hope you have your calculators. I see Matt's hand is up. Get your calculators out. So this agent did the referral. I walked them through it. I helped them out. Our brokerage took care of it, and they brought the referral in. It was the deal was for $32 million. Okay. Did y'all type that in your calculator already? Okay. The deal was for $32 million on a 6% commission. And it was a commercial referral. They said, I help me with this. And we were perfect. We will.
$32 million deal, 6% commission. The referral fee was 25% of the gross commission. How much did that referral agent get for just signing that car form and giving us a name and a number?
480,000.
Absolutely. And all they did was give us a name and a phone number. And they let us work the deal. So they could have gone through it. They could have said, well, I want to do it myself. That's something that big. You're looking at high risk. You're looking at high liability. Pass it to an expert. Pass it to us. Let us help you. Just refer it to us. Let us help you. Sit back, give us a name and a number, and collect a check for free. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, thanks, LJ. Hey, you nailed it. Look, and another thing to think about is, when our names are on a document, on a contract, exchanging real property, there's some exposure there, whether you like it or not, smooth transaction, rough transaction. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes we end up in mediation. Sometimes things happen. One of the best parts about being a referral partner is your exposure is very minimal. Your exposure is very minimal. You're nowhere on that contract. So not only are you getting paid, not only are you not having to do that heavy lift, but you get to pass it to a pro and the team. So you know that your client's getting well taken care of. Their team's going to make you look like a rock star. Clients are going to thank you for working with such a pro outfit. The checks are massive and it's not a heavy lift. There's just not that much effort on us. And then again, we just get to strengthen that. And then word gets out, right, to your network of people through that client. And then now all of a sudden you're the real estate pro that does it all. And what a great opportunity. And final note on that, I'm not going to drop any names, but there is a very well-known, rich, high-profile individual that loves his cars that is known in the commercial real estate world. He sells a course. I think it's like 10 grand. And you're not going to get what you get with Paul, and Paul's not charging. So I would advise everybody to take full advantage of this opportunity. Get a hold of LJ. I actually have to take this call, so I got to dip out.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, you guys get a hold of me. I put my information in the chat. Let's make this a side hustle for you. And I'll tell you, it's a side hustle with the potential of becoming your dream dollars. And I say that because I was taught that if I don't have dream dollars, which is making money while I'm sleeping, then I'll have to work hard until it's time for my eternal sleep. So let us help you take this side hustle and turn it into dream dollars for you guys. Parisha, if you're there, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I think she's there.
Yes, I am here, actually. I do have a question. So send us through a day of what exactly, once we have the lead and we give it to you, do we have to sign any paperwork, any contracts, things like that?
Yes. So you're going to sign in blood. We prefer O positive. No, just playing. So no, you're going to give us your car form. I believe that's because we actually don't use car forms. So you would do the car form, you sign the name, sign the information, or you just the name, email address, phone number. That's it. We contact them. We finish up the heavy lifting. You can stay. So we stay in contact with you throughout the process as well. So as it's going, hey, we're looking at properties now. We're at the point where we're searching for properties. Okay, we're at the point where they've picked 2 or 3 properties. Okay, we're at the point where they've narrowed down to the one property. All right, Parisha, here we go, girl. They put in their EMD. We doing good.
All right, they show a proof of funds. We doing good. So, because with us, a lot of the deals are cash deals. So they'll do a earnest money deposit, but then our escrow, they want to see that the money for this $15 million deal is available. So you don't do anything. You guys don't have to sign. You ladies and gentlemen don't have to sign anything. We do all the heavy lifting, the contracts. We do it all. You just get paid again for giving us a name and a number to work on your commercial deal. And they still remain your client.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay. So one more question. Do you recommend it being more of a passive thing, or do you actually outwardly seek commercial real estate deals? So for us as agents, as a side hustle, you want us to be more passive with it, or I mean, your thoughts, or kind of be a little bit more aggressive, where you might be able to say, hey, okay, I now sell apartment buildings or whatever, and actually start getting a little bit more aggressive or intentional. What are your thoughts on that? Because he touched on the passiveness about it, but he never really kind of said, hey, why don't you go for it? Like, and just be like a serious like referral thing. Even I know we're talking about side hustles.
So what you see is what you get. It's very, very passive for you. You guys don't go out there trying to make it harder than what it is. I can tell you that everybody on this call, you have a residential agent, you have a residential client that you sold to that probably has their own business and they need an office space or they need a retail space. It's as easy as that. It's as easy as you doing your normal day-to-day and learning your residential client. That's it. That's absolutely it. I actually work with a residential agent and I help her with her commercial deals. She's fully residential and she owns a restaurant. But when it's time to do her commercial deals, she doesn't do them, but she won't do them. She sends it to me to do it, and I pay her I give her a referral on her own deal. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, you don't do anything extra. This is the most passive, free dream dollars you can make. You're going to work with your own clients. You're going to learn your clients. Your client's going to talk to you about their house. They're going to say, yeah, while y'all walk through the house. Oh, okay. Yeah, because, I do make shoes. That's part of my income. You make shoes. Where do you make your shoes at? Oh, right now I'm doing it out of my house, but I'm actually looking for a space to do my shoes. Really? Perfect. I know the perfect person to refer you to help you find a space to do your shoes. And now you don't have to do 2 and 3 and 4 sets of contracts for two different spaces. You do the one set of contracts for the residential, you pass them over and give us a name and a number, and then you get paid for that. And you have to do anything but sleep. Clinton has his hand up.
Hey, what's up, LJ? How you doing?
What's going on?
Not much, man. Another day. I'm blessed.
You know it.
Hey, so the thing that I've run into a lot with, especially with commercial, is the leasing part, where it can get a little bit complicated, but also it can get complicated to the point where you have to negotiate your own commission or your compensation. So in referring that to your company, how would that work? Will I still be able to give it to you and say guarantee the commission still?
So coming out the gate, that was one of and I'm going to use the NAR settlement that just happened. Residential agents you guys were in a very cushy spot. And I was kind of like, man, I want that cushy spot too, where you didn't really have to negotiate. Coming out of the gate in commercial, you have to negotiate. Like we had to negotiate our buyer's commissions. It was always something that we had to do. So in that, now, Clinton, if you're doing this lease, you know somebody and they want to do a commercial lease and you refer them over to me. Now, the commission, I have to negotiate the commission. You don't even have to negotiate the commission at that point. You could say, hey, LJ, can you go for like a 3 or 4% commission? It's like, yeah, I'll do you one better. Let's go for 6. and we're going to negotiate the commission, and you're going to get the referral fee off of what we negotiated. You're automatically going to get the referral fee, and you didn't have to do any negotiations. You didn't have to convince anybody why they should pay you as the representing the tenant, because we call it tenant rep. You didn't have to negotiate any of this. You didn't have to fight with a greedy landlord who said, I'm not paying it. I'm not paying it. I'm not paying it at all. Don't worry about it. We got it. We'll negotiate that. And you just sit back and collect the referral fee.
And the referral fee is off the commission, right? Or is this something? Okay, gotcha. All right.
Referral fees are off the commission.
All right, thanks.
Any more questions, comments, concerns?
Hey, LJ, I just wanted to chime in real quick. We're setting it up to, I'm working on the website right now to where we're making it super easy for the referrals, to where it's basically click a button. We're going to have a Loom video walking agents, whether they're residential or commercial, which document to grab, where to grab it, what the information is to pull in. We're really streamlining this, to make it very easy. We want to make this as simple as possible, because the last thing we want to do is, like, for residential agents or anybody else, we don't want to bog them down with tedious tasks. We just want this to be simple and easy, and we want our client and agent satisfaction level as high as possible with our process.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Matt is like the most awesome teammate.
Yeah, that was the one thing we didn't get quite introduced to Matt. You know who Matt was. So, thank you, Matt, for the input on it. Yes. Yeah. I like how a team shows up to a game. That's great. All right. So does anyone else have anything for Latrice or Matt in terms of this commercial opportunity that you can do as a side hustle? But who knows? If the money's right, you never know. Any more questions? And you,
I'm sorry, I'd like to interject. I'd like to hear from our members just to see if they have any current side hustles that they'd like to share with the team that is working for them.
All right, that sounds great. Anyone? Don't let us call you out. We know some of y'all who got some. Don't let us call you out.
I'll jump in there. I have a side hustle. You guys ready?
Yes.
I refer to residential agents. I really do. I don't take a residential deal. I've actually had, since January, I've had 21 referrals close. And this was all me referring to a residential agent. I don't take any residential deals. I will not represent either side because I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what I'm doing. So I pass it to an expert. But since January, I've had 21 referrals to a residential agent close.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is great. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share? Okay, go ahead, Marie. I see you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was trying to give her a thumbs up, Latrice, and I put up my hand. A thumbs up to that, Latrice, okay?
Okay. You got me done. Okay. Does anyone else have anything? Do we have any home stagers in there? Any transaction coordinators out there that you side hustling? Any escrow assistants? Anybody selling Mary Kay?
I started out my sales career in Mary Kay. They actually have a good concept when it comes to trading and consistency. Ron Johnson has his hand up.
Yeah, this was all great information. One of the things that I do is I refer over to, I have an attorney partner that I do wills and trusts with, because as we well know, COVID took out a lot of people who didn't have wills and trusts, and probate went crazy. So I have a system that we pretty much work with all throughout the country to help people get these trust in place and wills, because again, If you don't have that trust, it goes to probate, and we don't want that. So.
No, that's great. Thank you for sharing, Ron. Sounds great. Okay, and I see Sheila got her hand up.
Yes, ma'am, I sure did. So I do have side hustles, but they're not real estate related. But it may encourage other people. I have a trucking business on the side, and I'm an Amazon freight partner with a fleet of about 15 commercial trucks. And then I also do contracting. And so, like just this year, I was trying to get some government contracts. But even this year, I kind of went into my past life of IT, and I was able to land a contract doing some technology stuff. So to me, it's just like, I just feel like don't forget where your not just your passion, but where your gifts are and your strengths, and operate in your strengths. And I'm just like tapping into everything, especially now while the business is a little bit slower.
Okay, I love that. Ooh, thank you for sharing. Thank you. And then Gloria, I see your hand is up.
Yes, sorry. Yes, I have my notary commission, and I'm going to be signing up with NNA. So if you need me, call me.
All right. Okay, Gloria, make sure you let us know what area you're in too, and don't forget to travel down with it to the conference. You might have some notaries on the southern side. Okay, and so Matt, I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, thank you for calling on me. Hey, look, this is just one thing that I'm very spiritual, and I just got to say that one thing that I heard this year that's really resonated with me, that has really spun my life in a great direction, is I heard an individual say, on the other side of your purpose, you will find more money than you'll know what to do with. And so I feel like if we're chasing our purpose, that we're gonna find what we need. And I just feel like a lot of people on here are speaking from the heart. There's a lot of passion and there's a lot of purpose. And I just want to commend everybody, because all these hustles, all these side hustles, this real estate, this is all relation-based industry. And everybody here is well spoken. And I just wanted to reiterate that we are all in the sales business. And so I think our sales necessarily need to be looked at as a side hustle in and of itself.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. Does it have anyone else before we close out? We're probably closing out a little bit earlier, but I'm hoping that this was a very informative session. We really want to try to bring something different every year to our virtual summit. We did it last year, and mind you, I'm just kind of tuning up what Clinton had started last year. So he had laid the pavement to the different type of activities that we were going to have for the year. But this turned out to be very awesome. I also want to make sure that Madam President says something before we close out.
Thank you, Parisha. And if you guys weren't on the beginning, sorry, I'm not on camera, but I just want to, I guess I'll close also by sharing a side hustle that I'm starting. I don't think it's really a side hustle because it's more like Matt just said about purpose. And so I'm actually not looking at it to be lucrative, but starting to help homeowners appeal their property taxes. And so that is a way to build relationships with homeowners prior to them selling their properties. So I'll keep you guys updated. I have a great speaker around that too, if other people are interested and you'd like to see that in the future. Within your particular county, every county is going to be different. So if you're interested, definitely look into that. It's, I think, for us in advocating for our community, I think it's a great advocacy tool to build relationships. So thank you all for joining the summit. Sorry, I'm a little congested. I have a cold, but thank you for joining the summit. I look forward to seeing you all at the national conference in New Orleans. If you are not able to make the national conference, no worries. We have the state conference coming. Parisha is our conference chair. She's doing an amazing job of providing educational opportunities and some ways that we can rally around each other to build our business during this conference. I think, Parisha, there may be some money prizes too, right? Around building your business while we're at the conference. So we're all about working to build your business coming up at our state conference in October. So stay tuned and tell a friend. Thank you all so much.
All right, everybody have an amazing rest of the day.
Thank you. This was great. Thank you.